Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Liv, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Welcome back, Liv Sin-Grell, your new band, Liv Sin, the new album, the debut album, Follow Me, coming out in less than 2 weeks. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
That's got to be a huge wait. You've been waiting on this for like a year and a half.
It's absolutely. I'm very happy and very to get it out to all the people, because for me it's not, or for us, for the band, it's not so new anymore. It's quite fun to just I've listened to the songs over and over again, and then I realized that no one else have listened to it yet, so that's quite interesting when you think about it. But so I can't wait to get it out. It's amazing that it's going to be released soon.
Yeah, so I actually, while I was sitting down last night to jot down some questions for this, I got off on a tear listening to the album and ended up writing my review of the album instead. So.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I love the record. I absolutely love what you're doing with it. But let's back up a bit. I was admittedly among the masses that was devastated when Sister Sin called it quits, but equally excited for your new adventure. Tell us about the journey that led you from Sister Sin to Liv Sin.
Yeah, absolutely. I was both surprised and very sad about Sister Sin. And me and Dave, the drummer, we was a little bit caught by surprise that it ended as it ended, or the way it ended, or because I think that both of us thought that we would go on forever. But in the end, when I think about it now, I'm really happy that we actually quit before it became infected, or before we got mad at each other or starting hating each other, because we are still friends today, which it feels very good for me. Even though I didn't want it to end, I'm happy now that we ended the way we did before it got too bad or whatever. And you can't force people to play, and if somebody doesn't feel the joy anymore in playing live, they shouldn't be doing it. So I think it was for the best. And also after a couple of months where I was pretty depressed and I was pretty down and I was lost, because my whole identity was based on being the front person or front singer in Sister Sin. But after a couple of months, I was seeing this as an opportunity instead of as a new start. I was telling myself I have to see this as a new start, and I could do something by myself. And I dig deep into my soul, and I try to find out what's the kind of music I want to do if I got to decide everything. So that's how it started, that I tried to dig into my heart and into my head and figure out what I wanted to do. And for me, it's actually never been an option to stop playing music, even though I was so depressed in the beginning that I thought that I didn't want to continue.
You were just trying to find that point where you were ready to move forward, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you chose Follow Me as the title of the album, which almost seems like you were reaching out to your fans, asking them to come along for the ride. Is there a story behind the album title?
Yeah, but it's more than one story, because that's one of the aspects of the title, that it's a kind of an invitation to the fans to tell them that I'm not gone. You can still follow me. But also it is from the chorus of the song Hypocrite. It's his number 2 on the record. Where the lyrics goes, follow me into the dark where my demons still hide. And I think that's a little bit what you are doing when you are composing music, and when you sing the music you compose, you invite the audience and the fans and the listeners to follow the artist into their deepest thoughts or their deepest things. So every time you listen to something, if you really dig into artists' songs, you get to follow them into their heart, actually, or into their mind. So that's also an aspect of the title.
What did you want to do musically when you set out to create your new project?
Well, at first when I just when I actually decided that I wanted to continue playing music, I was a little bit lost. I got a lot of questions from other producers and people who wanted me to join them or wanted to cooperate with me. And in the beginning, it always you want to like jump on everything. You want to just, okay, this sounds good. Yes, let's do this. But that was not the kind of music I wanted to do. It was most of the music of the people that contacted me was more pop rock or more commercial pop rock, metal pop, like that. And in the beginning, I was like, yes, I want to do anything, just this music. But then I was asking myself, can I really do this? Will I do this with my heart if I continue doing something that maybe is not my type of music? So and when you sit down and really think about it, you want to do something that's really in your heart. This is the music I want to play, and I've always wanted. I mean, I've always been a metalhead. I want to play metal, and also I ask myself, the way I sing, what am I good at? I mean, there's a lot of very, very, very talented female singers out there who play more pop rock, and they are amazing. And what I am good at is singing metal. That's my strength, that I can actually sing metal. So that's what I want to do. That is my place, to do really heavy metal. So I just like try to figure out what I wanted to do, and then it's like, I want to sing heavy metal. It's as easy as that.
And I was excited to see you have 2 guitarists in the band now, which to me is a bit more metal and allows you to do so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one thing that I knew from the beginning. I want to have 2 guitar players so that I can have guitar melodies, that I can have harmonies in the guitars, and I also can have a little bit fatter and harder sound. And they can do different things, of course, too. So, yeah. That was one of the first things. I need 2 guitars.
So for the rest of the world, introduce us to the rest of the band, Patrick, Per, Tommy, and Chris, and tell us what each brings to Live Sin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first one who actually joined the band was Per, who is the drummer, because he's my boyfriend too, so he was like hired on the spot and he didn't have a choice. I just said, you have to be in the band. I know how he's playing. Also, he helped out with Sister Sin. Sometimes he jumped in when Dave couldn't play in Sister Sin. He played instead, so I knew that how he was playing. So I feel comfortable with him. And then I found Patrick, who also is an old friend of mine, because I really needed someone who could make songs, who could make riffs. Because I had a lot in my head. I had songs in my head, and I had guitar riffs in my head. But I'm not that of a good guitar player, so I couldn't get them out in my hands. And I've known Patrick for a very long time, so I asked him if I also knew that he could make songs. He was a really good songwriter. So I asked him if he wanted to try out the things I had in my head, and he really understood it from the very first start. He could kind of read my mind, which is very, very good. And then, but he's a very good rhythm guitar player. So I needed a solo guitar player, and I was actually starting to look beyond the normal way when you just like ask around friends and you like thinking about other bands and you're thinking about guitar players from other bands that you can steal, all those not very nice things, stealing other bands' guitar players. But then I actually found Chris on Instagram, because I followed him and he put out a lot of small videos when he's playing solos, and I just saw that he's really good. He's a really good solo guitar player. So after a while, I just asked him if he was interested. So that's also something very good with the new social media, that you can actually see the guitarist player or the bass player before you even ask them. You can actually, if you follow them, you can see what they are doing, if they're any good. And then Tommy is the last one who we found. Always the bass players. I don't know. We had the same trouble in Sister Sin, finding bass players. So Tommy was like, we found him, I think, 1 week before we had photo session and the first video shoot. We found Tommy. So we are very happy that we found him, but it was in the last minute, very last minute. He was like thrown into the video shoot and the photo shoot and everything. But I'm very grateful that I found him because he's a really bass player, which I was also looking for. So.
Well, I was about to ask you about Fitty Weinhold and his involvement with the record, but
yeah,
that begs another question. Did Fitty play bass on the album? Because Tommy wasn't in the band yet when you recorded the record, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's Patrick who actually played the bass on the album. Because we were very stressed in the beginning of the fall when we were doing the songs, and we didn't have time to find the bass player before we entered the studio actually. So Patrick also used to play a little bit of bass, and since he wrote the songs and the riffs, he could actually play them on the bass. So it's Patrick playing down the bass.
Patrick served double duty there.
So no Fitty. Yeah, exactly, double duty.
But now you guys did actually work with Fitty and Stefan Kaufman, formerly of UDO. How did that come together, and how much impact did they have on the record?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's quite funny because they were in the very beginning of the whole project, even before I found Patrick, even before I started to make songs. I had Fitty because in the beginning I didn't have anything. I had just myself, and I was like, and my manager, Jeff, who believed that I could actually do something. And we started to look for cooperation. And I remember that Sister Sin used to tour with Udo quite many times. And I remember that Fitty told us, I think it was on the last tour we did with Udo, Fitty told us that he wanted to record the next Sister Sin album, which never happened because we quit. But he told us he wanted to record with us, and also he always used to come up to me, sneak up on me before shows, and give me small advice, like, "Hey, Liv, you should try to do this, or maybe you should sing like this a little bit." So he always, I think that he was a little bit, he wanted to mentor Sister Sin, and me, especially me. So when I was standing alone with nobody except my manager, I told Jeff, my manager, about this, and he said, "Well, let's contact Fitty." So we contacted Fitty, and Fitty was very, very happy, was into it right away. It's like, yes, let's do a record, and he had a lot of ideas. So it started with him actually, just wanted to be a part of this journey. So we met up, but then I realized that it was a little bit, because Fitty lives in Ibiza, so it's quite long way from Sweden, and it took a lot to try to make songs with him. I needed somebody here in Stockholm to make songs, so that's how I find Patrick, and we started to make songs. But we had Fitty in the loop all the times when we are doing the songs. So Fitty was in the pre-production and helped us with that, and then Stefan makes the recordings and the production after the recordings. So they work kind of that way, Fitty in the pre-production, and then Stefan with the recording, which was very awesome, because Stefan Kaufman both Fitty and Stefan, they have done this for so many years. They know this genre, they know their way, they know what is good and what is not, but they could take the essence out of our songs. So they didn't change so much, actually. They didn't remake the songs, but they took the essence out of the songs, the core of the songs, and made them better, or made them as they are now. Because sometimes when you make songs, you tend to overdo them. You have too much guitars and too much drums and too much vocal at the same time, and it just gets messy. Right. And they kind of took it down and made it a little bit simpler and made it more harder, actually. So I'm very grateful. They really understood what I was, especially Stefan. He really understood what I was out for, or what I was going for. And I remember the first day I was there, and I started to sing, and I was kind of a little bit afraid that he also wanted to make me softer and more poppy. And he just came in. I was warming up, and we started with the first song, and then he just said to me, "Damn, we're gonna do a heavy metal record." And then I was very happy. I felt like, yes, he understands what I'm after. No softer, just harder. So they're very, very good. I'm very grateful for working with them.
And it worked. This is definitely heavier than anything that you've done before.
Absolutely.
Now, you didn't get to do a duet with Dee Snider, as I know that you one day hope to do.
I know. Too bad.
Yeah, I know. But you did do a track with Schmier from Destruction, and you also worked with Yerky 69 of the 69 Eyes.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that all came together.
Yeah. I think that we wanted something a little bit more heavier. Yes, good. We wanted a little bit more. I love Dee Snider, but for the songs that we made, we kind of needed a voice that was heavier than mine. I felt that it would be cool with someone who actually knew a little bit more heavy style. And Killing Ourselves to Live has a little bit of a trashy moments in it. So when my manager, Jeff, who also worked for Destruction, said that he could ask Schmier if Schmier is interested in doing something, I thought it would be a great idea, because he knows that genre so well. He knows how to sing that. So and he was also right away he wanted to jump in and do the song. So and I think that it was like lifting up the song very much that he joined in, and I'm very happy for that. And hopefully we can steal a little bit of his trash fans too. We'll see about that. Then from the beginning, we didn't thought about doing any covers on the album. But that was just one day when me and Stefan was sitting and listened to old like Judas Priest songs and all kind of everything that Halford did, because we are both Halford fans, and we just that fight song came up, and we started to listen to it, and I said that, fuck, I love this riff very much. And I remember Stefan just said, maybe you should do a cover of it. So we just tried for fun to record it the day after. And it was like, yeah, this sounds good, this is cool, but I felt that something was missing. Because the song is a little bit too low for me. And then I thought in my head, because I've known Jyrki for quite a long time, and I've always wanted to do a song with him, because I love his voice. It's so dark and deep. And then it just came to my mind that it would suit his voice perfectly, with that low voice would suit that song so very good. So I called him up and asked him, and he was also very happy to help out and to be a part of the project. So, and I'm grateful for that, because hopefully that helps me to reach out to more people also.
Which track on the album, in your mind, was the one that was the most difficult to sort of complete, get it the way you wanted to, either musically or vocally for you, to sort of tie it down the way you wanted it?
I would say that's the last song, The Beastie Side. We worked quite a lot with that. In the beginning, it was a slower song with a heavier part in the middle, and then back to be a slower song. So we kind of just throw back and forth with it, with a different part of the song. And we never really, and also I think in the beginning we had another tempo, and we worked a lot with that to get it the way it is today. But I actually like it the way it is today. It was one of those songs that turned out so much better in the end. When in the beginning you are thinking, is this even going to work? Is this even going to be something? And you start to even almost throw away the song. In the end, I think that The Beastie Side is a really, really good song. So, but that was a hard one to work on.
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes. You go into the studio with this idea for a song, and by the time you're all done with it, it comes out and it's this completely different animal.
Exactly. And it has to be. It has to suit the song. The songs just like grow in the studio.
And we don't have time to talk about all the songs on the album, but one of the ones that stood out for me is right in the middle of the album, Endless Roads. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, this also was a little bit more other style, because most of the songs are more like just straightforward metal, and that has a little bit more bluesy vibe to it, maybe, or a little bit more rock and rolly vibe to it. But I like it, and it is. I mean, the lyrics of course, or obviously, is about being on the roads and the way I look at my choice or the choices I've made to still continuing being on the roads. And so for me, it's just a very personal song. And I also like the way I could experiment a little bit with my voice. I could do a little bit more than I was used to doing before. So I think it's a really good song, but it's a very different if you compare them to the rest of the album.
Now, before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you, the first time you and I ever chatted, I think, was backstage at the Knitting Factory on the Revolver Hottest Chicks in Metal tour. I can't even remember what year that was, 2012, 2010, something like that.
Yeah, 2010, I think.
And we talked a little bit about that day, about your various body art.
Yeah.
And I notice you have a new piece of art, a new upper chest piece there. Is there a story behind the new one?
Oh, yeah, that's my scarab. I think that's the name in English, right?
Yes.
Scarab. Yeah. Well, I'm very interested in the old ancient Egypt. So I have a lot of my tattoos are from the ancient Egypt style. And I think that the scarab, which is rebirth, kind of means rebirth. The scarab is a symbol for rebirth. I think that's really quite a very cool symbol, and also like how it suits to have on the chest. So I've always wanted a scarab, so now I got it.
Awesome, Liv. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat. It's always an honor to catch up with you. The new album, the debut album, Follow Me, is fantastic. I look forward to the next time we can chat, and hopefully you guys will get a chance to come over here to North America.
I hope so too.
All right. Take care, Liv.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.